Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma. We're going to be going through my Game 33 free hit draft. I'm sure many of you who didn't use the wildcard in Game 32 are going to be activating a free hit draft, and I do hope this video is going to help you guys out. But before we get into the video, if you're new around here and enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe. I think we're 20 subscribers away from 1,000, which is the goal before the start of the World Cup. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a like, so make sure you hit that bell, don't miss any content going up on the channel. And without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. So first, we're going to start off with the defenders and goalkeeping department. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty template for most of you guys, unless you're trying to go differential. I'm going to speak about some differentials along the way during the video. So in goal, we're having Verbruggen and Caldalo. Tottenham and Chelsea for Brighton. I think two winnable fixtures for clean sheets. Maybe the Spurs game, the Chelsea game, I'm not so sure, but all you can do is hope they did fail to score against Manchester City, so you never know what can happen. Then Darlow, well, most likely is going to be on the bench for you guys. You were looking for a differential goalkeeper. Maybe I'd look at Robert Sanchez playing against Manchester United, who are very, very poor against Leeds. Also playing against Brighton. You never know what can happen when you play against Brighton. So maybe Sanchez is a differential pick, but yeah, I like Verbruggen instead. And then when you go over to the to the defensive line, you'll be having Senesi and Hill from Bournemouth. Very high chance of some DEFCON points, the DEFCON magnets, and a very high chance of pitches against Newcastle and Leeds. So I've gone for the two Bournemouth pairing in defense. Then you have Van Heke as well against Spurs and Chelsea. High chance of out of DEFCON points and a potential pitches against Spurs. I do think Chelsea are going to score, but yeah, you never know. But yeah, Van Heke is in there. Then Kukurea is another differential pick I've gone for. I think against United and Brighton, there's a high chance of a double clean sheet in there, especially that United fixture. They did look very poor against Leeds, so very high chance of clean sheet in there. Maybe Brighton away is also, and Brighton at home. I mean, just away is also very high chance of clean sheet. Then you have Strike from Leeds. I think he's also going to be on the bench and alongside Carlo just to give some cover in case there's going to be any rotation. Then for my other consideration, I've gone for Mark Gahey for Manchester City. I think if O'Reilly is injured, you can maybe go for someone like Gahey, but I've gone for Man City assets in other positions we're going to talk about in a minute. But Gahey is also a very, very strong consideration, aerial threat, goal scoring. What an amazing goal he did score against Chelsea. So yeah, it's also a very interesting pick, but I do like the other the other defenders instead. So that's the defensive and the goalkeeping department. Now let's look at the midfield. So this is how the midfield is going to be looking like. Going to be having Semenyo in there and Ryan Cherky, as I mentioned before. I've gone for Man City assets, and I've decided to go for Ryan Cherky instead of Mark Gay. But I do think if O'Reilly is fit and ready to play, I'll sacrifice one of Semenyo or Cherky and have O'Reilly in there. But since we don't know his status at the moment, I've gone for Semenyo and Cherky in midfield. Cherky has been amazing the last couple of games. I think for 3 or 4 assists in his last 3 games. Been very, very good. So, on the other hand, he's been hot and cold. He had a terrible game against Chelsea, not passing the ball to Haaland, taking shots there where they're not supposed to take shots. So, yeah, very interesting to see how he's going to play against Arsenal and Burnley. But I'm really excited about that Burnley fixture when it comes to Man City assets. I think they're going to have an absolute field day. So that's why I've gone for that double attack in there from Manchester City. Then the next player is Cole Palmer playing against Manchester United and Brighton, as I mentioned a lot in this video. United looked very poor against Leeds, very poor defensively, and huge news coming out that Harry Maguire is going to be out of this game and potentially Lisandro Martinez is going to be out. So it's going to be a defensive line of Dalot, Euro, Heaven, and Luke Shaw. Very, very weak defensive structure. So you never know what Palmer can be able to do against that defense and against Brighton. Then put it past him to get a cheeky penalty and able to get some attacking returns. He did hit DEFCON as well against Man City, so that's another huge plus to be able to do that in this double game. Then the next player is Tavernier playing against Newcastle and Leeds. Randy Scott is a more exciting pick because he did score against Arsenal, and you can see my other consideration. I've gone for Scott in there. So I think it's 50-50 between Cavani and Scott. What do you prefer more? Do you prefer the differential and more exciting pick, or do you serve the serve? Do you go for the safe pick, someone who is in terms of set pieces, also potential penalties for him? That's why I've gone for Cavani instead. Then you have Pascal Gross, another safe pick I've gone for in there. He did get an assist in game 32, but I do think if you want to go for a differential pick, someone like Gomez is your guy. If he doesn't pick up a yellow card against Spurs, they're going to be very, very good. But I'm not so sure whether he's able to evade the threshold. That's going to be 15 yellow cards. I'm not so sure on that. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. So, yeah, but I do think Wifa maybe is maybe a huge differential pick, but I've gone for Gross just because of the same reasons as Cavani on set pieces. Potential penalties if Welbeck and Milner are not on the pitch because he plays the full 90 minutes compared to the others. So, yeah, and we talked about my other consideration in Scott, but I just do prefer Cavani because just a safe pick, to be honest. So that's the midfield. Looks pretty solid. Now let's look at the forward line. This is how the forward line is going to be looking like. And I do apologize for the background noise when I was recording this. It just started raining. So, yeah, maybe it's going to be an aesthetic, pleasing stuff. It is going to be horrible, but it is what it is. The video must go out. So, yeah, we have Haaland in there playing against Arsenal and Burnley. It was the greatest game against Chelsea, as I mentioned. Semenyo was not just not passing the ball to him. He had one clear cut chance where he fluffed his lines, but hey, I hope against Arsenal, especially that Burnley fixture, he does have an amazing fixture. Then you have João Pedro from Chelsea playing against United and Brighton. He had a very good game against Chelsea, I must say. I think he was one of the best. I don't know against Man City. I think he was one of the best, but unfortunately, he did not have any attacking returns. He got an assist, but it was offside by Kokorea. But yeah, it is what it is. But I do hope against Brighton can be able to perform. Then we have DCL playing against Wolves and Bournemouth. Against United, he missed, I think, three or four clear-cut chances, absolutely shocking stuff. But they do play against Wolves and Bournemouth, very high chance of some attacking returns, and I do hope he's going to be able to perform in those two fixtures. Another consideration, maybe a slight differential pick, I think is Danny Welbeck. If you're sure he's going to start both games, I'd go for him, but he's my other consideration as a risky pick since I don't think he's going to start both games, and that's why he's part of my other consideration. I don't prefer the others because I think they're going to play all two games. So that's the forward line. I think it looks pretty solid as well. I think the whole team looks pretty solid. A few differential picks in there if you want to go the differential route. As I've mentioned, if you've managed to reach this far, let me know in the comments what you think about my free hit draft. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.